Donald Trump just brought back segregation. Yes, I'm saying that. He just brought back segregation.
Hey beautiful people, how you all doing today? It's your girl Destiny here and welcome to my channel. How have you all been? Hope you guys are doing great. So this video is the part 2 video of the video I posted previously, and it's about the Donald Trump rolling out segregation and segregation happening back in the US. So the first part of the video, which I advise you should go check it out, is white people responding to the segregation, the idea of segregation coming back to the US. And then in this video we're going to see black people respond to segregation coming back to the US. And for me, I'm just like, okay, let me know down in the comment section, do you think that the segregation is going to benefit the black community in the US, or you think it's going to harm the black community in the US? When I heard this news, I was just like, okay, do it, okay? Which I'm going to share my thought later on in the video, but a couple of creators in this video kind of really, I need you to watch video to the end, because the last two creators actually pointed out some things that I wasn't thinking of when I heard about this news, and I feel like that will give us like a perspective of how to think about it, because you guys know how we do it. I like both sides so that we can think logically and make intentional decision. So yeah, we're going to check out black people's response to segregation coming back to the US, and then I'll come back and share more better. But let me know what you think about this and how you think it's going to affect black people. Anyway guys, let's go check out the video and then we'll come back and talk more.
Donald Trump just brought back segregation. Yes, I'm saying that. What? He just brought back segregation. Segregation on bathrooms, on restaurants, on who to hire. That is part of removing DEI, okay? Let's do it. Bring back segregation. I want to know I'm not welcome. I want to know where my money does not deserve to be put at, because let's make this very clear. Black people in America are the buying power. Y'all forget we buy more than anybody else. I don't know why we do that shit, but we do. So let us know where we aren't welcome. Bring back segregation. I guarantee y'all gonna all y'all money. Because white folks don't shop like that. And when they do, they don't spend in middle class areas. It's the rich shit like Gucci and Prada. Not everyday hometowns. Go ahead and ourselves up. Bring segregation back. Yup. Bring it on back. Let's see how this shit rides. You see what's going on with Target.
Donald Trump rolling back segregation is absolutely not surprising to anybody with a brain, with a working brain. However, this is exactly why I will not be giving grace. I will not be forgiving anybody who voted for him or had a hand in him being elected. So if you didn't vote, for whatever your reason was, you are to blame as well. Y'all keep trying to make us feel guilty about not wanting to be in a community with these people and not forgiving them and shaming them and pointing the finger every chance we got. But they are the reason. No matter how much you want to spin it and how whatever their reasoning was, you are the reason this is happening. Everything that's happening, all the suffering you're about to endure, it is your fault. And you need to know that. And I will not be jumping on the bandwagon of, well, now is not the time. Yes, it is the time. It is the time. Because we've been saying for months that this was going to happen. We've been campaigning. We've been yelling and screaming and telling y'all like y'all don't really understand what's about to happen. And y'all said, oh, well, no, they're both equally as bad. Okay, here you go. Here you go. Congratulations, you won.
This whole rollback of segregation law thing got me cracking up, because imagine I'm drinking water and up to me and say, hey, you can't drink out of that water fountain. That water fountain is not for colors.
And to the white people who thought that we cared about segregation, boy, huh? And to the white people that thought we cared about segregation, boy, we don't give a damn. Huh? Newsflash, it's 2025. The back of the bus is the coolest spot. Huh? You gonna be real surprised when you drive by Popeyes and you realize that shit say colors only. Yeah, no more chicken. Y'all cut off. See, a couple of years ago, I made a post and I said we need to get them the recipe to the chicken so they stop goddamn coming to the spots trying to act like they don't know what's going on inside of them. But I'm glad we did. And I'm glad y'all said, nah, we already stretched it thin with the Asian market. We gonna just keep it how it is with the whites. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Are we doing that on TikTok? That's the only thing I need to know. We are the culture. So if y'all want to take y'all belongings to the other side of the map, cool. I'm all right with that. Designer stores ain't in our neighborhoods. Guess what? Oh, bye-bye, Dior. So long, Louis Vuitton. I'm all right. Yeah, see, what y'all don't understand is that we really control the market, even though y'all try to act like we don't. I'm not worried about the situation. Honestly, I never, ever in my life woke up one day and said, oh my God, I want to go to a restaurant where a white person is cooking. Never ever said that. I never even dreamed about nothing like that. Never in my life woke up out of my sleep and said, you know what? I think I got a taste for potato salad with apples and goddamn raisins. Never did I ever. But let's just see how this fare, okay? Maybe it'll work out for the best for y'all. But as of now, anybody born after the 1980s, we don't give a damn what y'all do, huh? We set the trends, and whatever we doing popping. Hello? I'm just a messenger.
How Donald Trump is trying to roll back like anti-segregation laws in the United States. If you were to have told me like a year or two ago that my jaw would have stayed firmly in place upon hearing this news, I truly wouldn't believe you. I wouldn't, but alas. Anyhoozle, I read a comment that said, at least our schools will be safe now.
Okay.
I have yet to recover. My favorite part is the response to that comment is a rainbow coalition of agreement. White people, black people, Asian people, Latino people, all like, well, you got a point there. I can't believe I'm saying this, but black Republicans, come to the front, please. If you voted for Donald Trump, how do you feel about this? How would you feel if you walked into your office tomorrow and saw that your employer put up a water fountain that said, for coloreds only? Black Republican legislators, how about you? Candace Owens, girly pop. Maybe you think you can like absorb your husband's whiteness through osmosis, but I don't think that's how that works.
And while I'm on the topic, if y'all so worried about being segregated from everybody else, what do you want? Because last time I checked, y'all want y'all own everything. Y'all want black shows, black movies, black radio, black music, black neighborhoods, black churches, black grocery stores, black-owned restaurants where you got to pay $15 just to sit down at the table, and a 22% gratuity no matter how many people sitting at the table eating, no matter how good or bad the service was. Y'all want all black everything anyway, but then y'all want to cry about segregation. Make it make sense. What do you want? And if you don't want to be segregated, which ain't nobody segregating us, stupids, but if you really were fearful that people were trying to segregate themselves from us, at what point do you turn inward and say, well, you know, what are the reasons why people don't want to be around us? It can't just be because of the color of our skin or because our hair grows up and not down. It can't be the reason. Because most of y'all got wigs on anyway, so they can't even tell that our hair is kinky no more. So it can't be about that. Perhaps it could be about the fact that everywhere we go, we somewhere loud and obnoxious. It might be about the fact that our kids, no matter what school we send them to, our kids seem to be at the bottom of every single school we send them to. Our kids seem to be overrepresented in special education. Our kids seem to be overrepresented in suspensions and expulsions. Perhaps the issue is with the fact that 60-something% of our babies are born out of wedlock. Perhaps there's an issue with the black communities. You look around, you see more liquor stores and check cashing places than banks and grocery stores. And everybody seems to be okay with that because they keep on living there. Somebody's selling the drugs, somebody doing the drugs. I see crackheads and dope fiends all day long. And I also see the ones supplying and serving them. Let's be for real. Somebody's doing in the communities. Somebody's doing the making the babies and leaving them. Somebody's failing to teach their kids how to read. Somebody's failing to teach their kids how to articulate themselves, how to behave in public. We have some issues within our community that need to be worked out, but y'all would rather just blame white people for everything and be mad at white people for not wanting to be around us when we actually could straighten some things out ourselves. But y'all just gonna call me a coon and a whatever for trying to tell y'all what to do. And that's exactly why I tapped out. I ran a school. I created this whole school specifically for black kids in the hood, to take them out of the country, to show them something different, to expose them to a better world. And what they do, what did their parents do? Tear it up. So I tapped out. I don't even care no more. But me and my black child and my black child's black daddy are going to figure it out. We're going to get it right. Ain't nobody going to subjugate us. Ain't nobody going to feel the need to segregate themselves from us, because we are necessary, we are needed, we are appreciated, we are valued, and we are our authentic black selves the whole time.
Segregate us, just know that we are going to take this and we are going to succeed. Like, this is not going to stop us. This is not going to make us not great, because we're going to make us great. Like, we want better schools again for our kids. We want to support black businesses. We want black residences. We want us to succeed. I don't get it. Like, you want to go back to the white black, like this is what all the civil rights leaders have fought for. You want to go back to the white black, like they sit in the front, we sit in the back, or their water fountains clean. Like what? God, what is going on? Why would this be one of the things that you want to do to make America great again? I mean, not only did you try to erase Black Lives Matters in Washington, D.C., now this, basically the ban would be lifted for federal contractors, and that would include like restaurants, recreational areas, waiting rooms, work areas, fountains, water fountains. I don't know who really uses water fountains nowadays. And like transportation, like luckily our generation now is so much for Black power. We're so much stronger. We're so much, well, a lot of us are so much wiser that like, all right, do it. Like, do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to do it. Like, don't be wrong. Like, we want to live in Black communities. We want to have our kids to be educated properly, and we're going to continue making this great. But the fact that like he wants to do that is just like, damn, like he just really want to, you know, keep lowering us and putting us down and lowering us and putting us down. It's just, I don't know, it's crazy to me. It's sad. Like the world that we live in now is just really sad. Like we're basically going back in time. That's pretty much it. But the only difference now is that we're gonna be great and we're gonna win. That's it. So if he wants to bring it, bring it.
The fact that those segregation laws will roll back and he's trying to dismantle the Department of Education, do you know the implications that that's about to have on us? There are a few things you need to understand about race, education, and segregation. Thing one, redlining. In the 1930s, the federal government Homeowners Loan Corporation decided to create these maps. And they were going to highlight the spaces that were worthy of investment, highlight the ones that were unworthy of investment. If you can see here, the ones in red were deemed hazardous. Guess who lived in those neighborhoods? I'm going to give you time to answer this one, class. Yes, brown and Black folks. And of course, the best neighborhoods were worthy of the most investment. What does this have to do with education and segregation? Well, let me cook. And this is why I'm not keying with y'all when y'all make those segregation videos. Like, we don't care. Baby, you got to. This is why many school districts are not open enrollment, meaning that they have attendance zones. Attendance zones mean that children go to schools that they are close by. They go to schools in their neighborhood. We all know this. That's why some of y'all have to use a different address to sign your kid up for school because you want them to go to a different school. How do you think these schools have defined attendance zones? What do you think school districts are using to define attendance zone? Quick. We're running out of time. Yes. They're using redlining maps. They don't openly admit this. A lot of them don't know that they're doing it. But that's exactly what it is. All you got to do is look around. The truth is in your face. I'm going to go ahead and read your mind. And I know that the next thing you're going to say is, well, if all of these things were already in place and they already happening, right? How would rolling back segregation in 2025 and dismantling the Department of Education affect us in a negative way? But what the Department of Education does is federally fund some of these disparities, right? Let's use our redlining. A teacher that would have been teaching in a red line zone would essentially make the same salary as a teacher who was teaching in a green zone. If the Department of Education is dismantled, that won't be a thing anymore. The pay gap is so real. Paraprofessionals, they won't be funded. People who come in schools and do vocational therapy, special education teachers. When schools start to cut funding, the federal programs go first. Y'all got to understand something. Even in these red line zones, 90%, that data could be old because that was the last time I checked, but 90% of your student educators, if you are brown and Black, they don't look like you. You know why? Because even the people over these districts, these red line districts, they don't look like you. So there is no representation. And if discrimination goes unchecked, that's when you're about to see a lot of our kids getting expelled from school because of bad behavior. Our children get IEPs based off behavior alone because the majority of the people they're educating them don't look like them. It cannot empathize with your children. This won't only affect children in public school. The Department of Education also funds child care. So if you are on a subsidy program and the government is paying for your child to go to school, or you're paying a portion of your child's tuition to attend a daycare, let's say your kid in pre-K, they're going to cut the funding for those programs. The Department of Education funds those programs. And if you don't have anybody to watch your children, then how you going to go to work? If we do not become a source in our own communities, because we know we got to get the work done, because a lot of us do this, but our hands ain't doing nothing. A lot of us running our mouth about what need to be done, but you're not actually active in your community. If you do not start getting your hands dirty, we're donezo. I don't encourage anyone to do anything that will cause harm to the community, but do you need to be putting things in place? Do you need to be making sure that you and the people around you have access to things? Do you need to be making sure you got your people's back? Yeah. It blows me because y'all in the matrix. Y'all want all this reform, but you ain't willing to be no tool. If we don't become what our community needs, you about to see real quick in real time how ain't nothing funny.
One thing I love about us being black people, black Americans, we can find the humor in anything. Y'all be over here up in arms. We be over here kikiing about something that's like, we know it's serious. We can walk and chew gum. We can see the seriousness of it while also finding the humor in it. Okay? We can do both. But we gonna have a good kiki. The current thing I'm seeing people make jokes about is segregation. And I get the jokes. Jokes are rooted in some real anger, some real fears, but also just the trauma response of finding the humor in it all. But I do want to give some context about why this could be very serious. I think people are missing that piece. In case you missed it, there's some executive orders that were rolled back. I think it's an executive order that take away the requirement for federal contractors to operate a desegregated workforce. And so what happens is, how the federal government gets private entities to do what they want them to do is they dangle dollars to them. Oh, you want to sell us your products to the federal government? You want to sell us your toilet paper for our federal buildings? In order for us to buy things from you, company, you have to follow these rules. You cannot have a segregated workforce to get federal dollars. And that has worked for literally my entire lifetime, most of yours. And if not your entire lifetime, I will put money on it. Very likely your entire time in the workforce. These are going back to the 60s, these different policies that were in play. And so they're rolling these things back. Now, will companies be big and bad and bold and be like, okay, well, we're gonna go up and put the whites only water fountain thing? I don't know if it's gonna look like that really. But what happens is we do see companies, some of your smaller companies, kind of off the grid companies that do get federal dollars, that they often won't comply with these things. They only will hire white people, for example. And the government was able to use these policies to enforce, like, you can't get no more money. And that isn't the case anymore, the way they're acting and rolling these things back. So black people are cracking jokes about, you know what? Good. We wanted to be over here by ourselves anyway. We weren't too eager to be hanging out with y'all anyway. And I get that sentiment, especially now, because the overtness of the racism is something we have not seen in our lifetimes. The hoods are out the closet. They out here emboldened with this. And so that does make you want to retreat back into your own community. The other thing that we've always heard our entire lives, well, maybe not forever, but like one thing that gets discussed, we talk about these historic black neighborhoods that the businesses are gone, they're boarded up, they're food deserts, all these different things. And one of the things people point to about how these neighborhoods change is once people were able to integrate and move to nicer neighborhoods that had better infrastructure, they did. And that left the poor black people in these communities, unfortunately, because they couldn't afford to go. And so people think if we're forced together, once again, we can build up our communities. And I get that sentiment. But the thing I think people are forgetting about segregation, separate but equal. It never happened. We were, and still are, taxpayers. First of all, we built this ish for free. And then once we were freed, we paid taxes and did not get an equal share of those taxes into our neighborhoods, our infrastructure, our schools. We still don't, if we're being honest, you know? And so the piece that I think people are thinking, I can have all the things I have currently. I can do the things I do currently and not have to deal with the microaggressions of white people and just be amongst my people. Sounds like a win, but that's not what's going to happen. Because when they separate black people, they're never going to give us all the things they give white people. Even though our tax dollars, our money is still green and we still are funding the infrastructure that builds this country, they're never going to give us that part. So that's the part I think people are missing. I'm going to encourage you to go back and read or watch a documentary or a movie about the Brown v. Board case, where they break down how nothing was ever separate but equal. I'd also encourage you to look at some of the majority black cities in this country and see the challenges that they have, like Jackson, Mississippi, the water crisis. This is a really good look at how even today the separate still is not equal, and what that would look like for us. And so the unfortunate reality is, in order for us aiming to desegregation to desegregate wasn't about like we want to hang out with white people. That wasn't the thing. The thing was, y'all, we know y'all are never gonna make it separate but equal. So in order for us to get equal access to what our tax dollars pay for, we are gonna have to get into those white schools. We're gonna have to get into these white companies. We're gonna have to move outside of our own neighborhoods in order to get access to what we are owed, because what we pay for are taxes. So that's the part I think people are missing, and the part that you should be fearful of is that they will gladly put you separately, but we're never gonna get what we're owed if we're separate. And that's the sad reality of it, because I do think that I live in a black neighborhood now. Love it. Love it. You ain't never gonna make me feel bad about being amongst my people, ever. But I also recognize that because of where I live at, I struggle with my power goes out once a month. I always got some issues with my internet. Whenever I call them, I say, y'all would never do this in River Oaks. And they wouldn't. They would not. And so I want us to be mindful of those things, continue cracking the jokes, but also have the understanding of the seriousness of these things and how they are willing to push us back into second-class citizens while taking our tax dollars, the key part that I want everyone to remember as well.
Interesting. The last two creators take really got me thinking, because I was thinking it was going to benefit the black community if this segregation happened. Anyway, guys, please go down in the comment section and share your thoughts. Love to know your own take down in the comment section. But please, as always, keep it respectful. You're on this channel, we're allowed to disagree, but we'll do it in a very respectful way. So go ahead, feel free and share your thoughts. So you guys know how passionate I am with what's going on in America, and especially what's going on with the black community in America. And hearing this entire conversation, I'll say it's a learning process for me at this point. Even though as much as I know a lot of the history, I've done a lot of research, and I know like the dynamic that works, I really feel like, because initially when I saw this news and all that, I was like, okay, why is it threatening that they're going to segregate black people from white people? Like, black people is going to be fine either way, because whether we want to admit it or not, most of the things in the US was built by black people. In terms of pop culture trend and all that, it's black people that set it. White people takes it and reform, and they call it different names. So in my own head, I'm like, black people are going to be fine. The black community are going to be fine. They're going to strive, because they're already the ones feeding the system, and that they're going to be fine, whether they've been segregated. In fact, initially I thought, oh, probably like they will even do way better now that it's just black people. We're doing good for ourselves. We're very intentional, because now this is our community. This is where we belong, not just mix and match. And initially, like, I just feel like black people can call off that bluff and do way better than they think we should do. So I feel like as black people, as collective, I feel like we're no longer in that age where we are naive. We have a lot of information here in our hand. And the black community in the US, I feel like they were going to do well, because now, like, why wouldn't they do well? They have everything. Like, they have, in my own opinion, when I saw this news, I was like, you can't threaten them with segregation. They will strive. But now looking at what the last two creators were talking about, and how this will just make them, it's almost like they are pushing black people to one corner, the black community to one corner, so that they can neglect them and don't do anything, even though they still pay tax like the other folks out there. And this just really like strike me like this is something they've done to Africa. Like, as much as, yes, Africa, most of the resources, natural resources, comes from Africa, they just push, because it's majority just that black, like majority black, they've neglected it. Not neglect, they don't neglect, like they've compromised our leadership. They've put it in that place where there is this system of we can fight back. And I know that is a deep rooted thing, which we all know that we can't fight by, we can't do anything, we're just stuck in it, and they will just keep on collecting and collecting from us and don't give back. So for me, that's what the sisters pointed out. This is a real concern, and honestly, I really want to know what you guys think about this conversation. Educate me more down in the comment section. Do you think that the black community will strive, would do way better if there is segregation, or do you think that it's going to affect the black community in a negative light? So go down in the comment section, go ahead and share your thoughts. I really want to educate myself on this, because at this point I don't even know what I wish for the black community in the US anymore, because at one hand I trust that the black community in the US, the African Americans, would do way better if they are segregated, but pointing out how they are going to be neglected, that just actually is really worrisome. Anyway, share your thought down in the comment section. Share this video with somebody that you want to be part of the conversation, because that's what we do here. We have banging conversation. So go on and share this video, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed to this channel. I will see you guys in my next video. Deuces.